The Mercury dime is one of my favorite silver coins to get. It was made from 1916 to 1945, and this represents an important part of American history. Have you ever thought about what life was like back when this was a common coin? Well, let's explore it. Our story begins in 1916. Tesla had beaten Edison in the current wars, and the electricity was becoming popular to light the streets and homes at night. Henry Ford's Model T car was a wide success and could be bought for only $400. Norman Rockwell started illustrating the cover of the Saturday Evening Post. Silent black and white films could be seen in theaters, like the newly released 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Europe had been at war for 2 years in what would come to be known as World War I. So far, America had stayed out of this war because we wanted to stay neutral, but we were starting to feel the effects here at home. At this time, the U.S. Mint wanted to update its coins. The $10 and $20 coins had been updated 8 years earlier with designs from Augustus St. Gaudens, like his double eagle right here. The nickel had also been updated to the buffalo nickel right after the gold coins, and the cent had been updated to feature Lincoln just 3 years earlier. Now it was time to update the dime, quarter, and half dollar. All three of those have the same image that was worn out, and the mint was ready to replace it. But who would create the new designs? This design was made by Charles Barber, but he was over 70 years old, and he had a reputation for not playing well with others. He was very argumentative. Enter Adolf Weinmann. Weinmann had immigrated to the U.S. at the age of 14 from Germany with his brother and widowed mother. Weinmann was a gifted artist and learned sculpting under Friedrich Kahlenberg. Later, he worked with Augustus St. Gaudens. Yep, the same St. Gaudens that just made the famed double eagle. Weinmann submitted some sketches for the new coin designs. The mint was going to just do one design from different artists so that they would have a wide variety, but they wound up pulling out two of Weinmann's designs from over 50 sketches. That was the Walking Liberty, which was used for the half dollar, and the Winged Liberty head, which was used for the dime. Now the Walking Liberty, of course, is still used today on the American Silver Eagle, and the Winged Liberty head is actually used on the Palladium coin. These actually feature models of the same woman, Elise Catchell Stevens. On the obverse or heads is a woman wearing the Phrygian cap with wings. Here you can see the close-up on the Mercury dime. The Phrygian cap was a symbol of freedom during the American Revolution and the French Revolution, and it had been a popular feature on coins. He added wings on the cap to represent freedom of thought. However, a lot of people confuse this with the Roman god of war, Mercury, and that's why I picked up the name the Mercury dime. On the reverse or tail side is the fasces representing power, along with an olive branch representing peace. If you want to know more about this design, my friend The Culture of Currency is releasing his own video on the Mercury dime, where he talks about this dime and scores it. I'll link that down below. Be sure to check that out. This Mercury dime was released on October 30th, 1916. Actually, 8 days after it was released, Woodrow Wilson narrowly won re-election to the President of the United States with the slogan, "He kept us out of war." I assume this design became more widely circulated as we entered World War I 5 months later. I wonder if that has anything to do with why people figure that this is the Roman god of war and call it the Mercury dime. The dime has about 0.071 ounces of silver in it. At current spot price, That makes it worth about $1.60, but it would take about $2.20 to $2.50 to buy a regular circulated one like this. So how much do you think this dime would actually buy you back then? Well, it turns out the Federal Reserve actually has quite a bit of information about this. Unions had become very common back then, and so their wages were published, as well as the government keeping track of food prices. So we can actually look this up on the Federal Reserve website. In 1916, a baker could make 21 to 50 cents an hour, or 2 to 5 of these dimes. What could they buy with that much money? Well, it turns out you could buy a loaf of bread, a pound of oats, or a pound of lima beans. Okay, these are not lima beans, that's what I had on hand. Each of these would only cost you about a dime. If you want something sweet, well, how about a jar of strawberry preserves? Well, this is actually peach, this is what I had on hand, but this is 1 pound of strawberry preserves. It costs you 2 dimes right there. How about some meat? Well, a pound of sliced ham like this, well, costs you about 5 silver dimes. Yeah, that's right. It would take a foreman an hour of work just to buy 1 pound of sliced ham. What if beef is more your flavor? Well, it turns out that some beef would actually be about the same price. It was about 4 to 5 silver dimes for a pound of beef, depending on your cut. By the way, this meat I just pulled out of the freezer, it's still thawing out. But how do you think that they would preserve this back then? It turns out in 1916, when the Mercury dime was released, you would probably be storing it in an ice box. 2 years after the Mercury dime was released, the first refrigerator for home use was mass produced for $500 to $1,000. Now we say that, or a lot of people will say that silver is a hedge against inflation. So let's see how that compares to today. This pound of beans is actually still about 1 silver dime's worth. The same is true for your oats. The pound of bread, well, it depends on what brand you buy, but that's still about 2 silver dimes. The jam, again, it depends on the brand you buy. This is just checking on my local store. The jam is about 2 to 3 silver dimes, so it's not that much more. Now the meat is where it gets really interesting. This pound of ham would cost you 5 silver dimes at the time. Now it's closer to 3. On the other hand, that steak, well, I don't have any steak here because that's gone way higher up. Now you're looking around 20 silver dimes for a pound of steak. Oh, and that fridge I talked about, it turns out, according to today's Memorial Day prices, you're still looking about $500 to $1,000 for an entry-level fridge. So I'm not going to convert that to silver. It's going to be a lot cheaper in silver, but you would expect that with a new technology, learning how to make it, it's going to go down in price as it becomes more widely adopted. And that Model T Ford, well, it was 4,000 silver dimes at the time, although I doubt anybody would ever pay it for it that way. Now the new price of a car is closer to 30,000 silver dimes. So your results are mixed. And that's the interesting thing about this. People talk about the price of inflation, but everything is all different prices and things go up and go down at different rates. But for the most part, a lot of these are keeping up with. But for the most part, silver is keeping up with a lot of these really well. So like I said at the beginning, the silver dime, the Mercury dime, represents an interesting part of history. This dime not only saw all of World War I, but it also saw the Roaring Twenties, the Great Depression, and World War II. Cars and fridges went from a new consumer fad to a mainstream part of life. The Mercury dime was retired right after World War II ended with the Roosevelt's dime, but that is a story for a different day. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also be sure to check out The Culture of Currency with his link down below about the Mercury dime. Thanks for watching, and have a magical day.